Sahana vavatu, sahanau bhunaktu, sahaviryam karavavahai, tejasvinavadhitamastu, ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So on our way to class here, our feet were walking on a hard floor. Texture perhaps was felt of your sandals, and now your feet are touching the floor, a carpet, and there's texture. And there is sound, and there is air, and there is a little bit of a wind. And then, when we come out, there will be food, and we will be observing the scenery. And then tomorrow and next day will come, more of this will come. Floor you will be walking on, breathing air, seeing faces, communicating, responding, thinking, and all of this in which you find yourself in is the empirical world. Intelligence, but it's hard. Concepts, but it's hard. It's solid. It's governed by laws. I know it's intelligence, but I can't move my hand through it. It's amazing. That's never going to change in this world. This hardness, texture, air, wind, all of this is knowledge and power. This very moment. This is how the setup is. What I can do is come to see that this is a setup. It's governed by laws. There is a person that is responding to another, experiencing through the five senses. That's how the setup is. It cannot change because we don't dictate. We don't govern the laws. We don't set this up. It is already set up for us. We are born in this world, and this is what we are now experiencing. This is Ishvara's setup. All I can do is recognize this is Ishvara's setup. The walls, world, birds, trees, air, communication, food, delicacies of life, rainbow, the moon. This is how it is. In here, in this world. Some other world is a different world. In fact, they could say the exact same thing in a different world. This is how the setup is, boys and girls. We have fairies flying and jellyfish, transparent jellyfish, flying carpets. You can get onto one like a taxi, and then a jellyfish takes you from one place to the other. You can jump, and then you can fly, and you will fall slowly without being hurt. And then again, like Superman, you can fly through the clouds. And you can talk to each other telepathically. That will be nice sometimes. You can communicate so much more like this without having to speak through sounds. You speak through telepathy. Tune in to the person's thoughts. This is also a possibility in Ishvara's order. But why don't we have that possibility here as much as some other place? That's how the setup is. Simple as that. Now, I could perhaps develop that skill, but then again, others won't. So I'll just be talking to myself. Therefore, there's endless possibilities in this order, in Ishvara's order. And we are given a range of those possibilities on earth. And this is what we have. Some of the great things that we have on earth are such as friendship, warmth, closeness, feeling of love, protection, safety, security, hugs, right? That security that I feel at home. This is also Ishvara setup. It's also Ishvara setup that gives us feedback in the form of tension, awkwardness, guilt, shame, embarrassment, fatigue. Something's off, says Ishvara, through its laws, speaking through its laws. Something's off, some adjustment is required. Our bodies are the greatest indicators, greatest instruments, one of the greatest instruments. So much nuances can be tuned in through this body. We can channel, we can telepathically communicate, we can have spiritual experiences that science cannot explain, that people will often discard. And yet this body is capable of doing that. Ishvara setup. So when will you ever experience something that is not Ishvara setup? What is your fallback? What is my fallback? Whenever something comes, as we come to the closure slowly of this retreat, what is your fallback? It is all Ishvara setup. No matter what happens, I am a participant in this setup. I will never be outside of this setup. There is no such thing as unfairness in this setup. The setup is fair. The setup wants to, not that it wants to, but it's made in such a way that you benefit if you tune into this setup. Will the setup change for you, for your fancies? No. If the setup is not going to change to adopt to our fancies, then we have no choice but to adopt to the setup. That is alignment with Ishvara's laws. Because we don't make up the rules. And that is what is called intelligent living. Intelligent living, recognizing I am participant in this setup, and what little can I do? Where is my time and attention required right now? And what can I do while I am given that opportunity? What best can I do? When I do that, I move on. All the while recognizing I'm still a participant. The whole thing is mithya. The whole thing is mithya, but it won't change for me because it's sopadika atyasa. When I come to know the status of the world as mithya, hard floor and texture of the carpet and the wind and coldness against your skin, which is now coming because I turned down the temperature, all of that is sopadika atyasa. When I get to know the status of this jiva as having no reality without awareness, having no existence without awareness, having no substance without the final awareness, which is known to you as that constant presence that's even true now. Nothing changes, no experience comes, no experience goes away. Just, okay. This is why we said initially, at the beginning, moksha is not palavyapti. It's not this, now I see awareness for the first time ever. Just a gentle recognition. This was awareness all along, manifesting as forms by the power of its power. By the power of its power, called Maya, it was manifesting all of this. The whole thing was me. Coming to see that the whole thing is me, the verse then continues and confirms or states that you see everything as the self. And therefore verse 47 says, Samyak vijnanavan yogi swatmani eva akhilam jagat ekam cha sarvam atmanam ikshate jnana chakshusha. So the yogi sees through the eye of his or her eye of wisdom. Jnana chakshuhu. What do you think is this eye of wisdom? Like, what is this? Do you think this is a physical eye, or what is eye of wisdom? It's a symbol.
It's an understanding.
It's a representation of understanding. So they give it some poetical name. So they sometimes, you can say, it's a third eye. The eye that sees both, the left side and the right side. It is that it stands in the middle, which recognizes the glass is both half full and half empty. There is both a Vyavaharika, but also the truth of Vyavaharika is Paramartika. Therefore, it sees all levels of reality. That jnana chakshu, the eye of wisdom.
Is it also the inner eye, like looking inside, and it's also looking outside?
It is a symbolic, it's a poetical expression of one's understanding that the world is mithya. Therefore, you could say the mind of wisdom, the eye of wisdom, the recognition, the cognition that has taken place. Therefore, the jnani's perception remains the same, but the perception doesn't fool the jnani. I'm no longer fooled that this world is absolutes. The person is an absolute, this is an absolute, this is absolute, that is absolute. It is mithya. It means it has dependence on many, 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 many things that my eyes, my physical eyes are not programmed to see. But just because they don't see it doesn't mean the atoms are not there. Just because I don't see intelligence doesn't mean intelligence is not there. Therefore, the world being mithya, then why is the world, if everything is one, why do I see many? Because we said this one Brahman has a potential capacity to manifest the many, and you are now, your 5 koshas are experiencing those many in the presence of self, in the presence of Brahman, the one constant presence. That's why you see, that's why many are experienced right now. In the presence of whom are many experienced right now? In the presence of Brahman, I. That is Jnana Chakshu. Would this ever not be true? Would this not be true when you're at the airport or on the road going back home? Would this not be true tomorrow when we hopefully go to perhaps the temple? And see so many, perhaps worshipping and devoting to these sacred symbols, and you're like, they must know something that I don't. There's so much power behind it, so much force behind this worship. And you say, maybe they're in touch with something that I am yet to discover. Will it be not true then? So when we go and see these, sincere, I call them truth lovers. Everyone's a truth lover. And there's this long line of truth lovers. What are these truth lovers looking for? Fulfillment. That means as long as I'm standing in the line looking to worship something, most of them, if you ask them, they want something for their family. They want nice marriage for their daughter, resolving issues with mothers-in-law, things like that. Some of them much fewer want to see the nature, recognize the nature of this Lord that they're praying to. Even fewer are going to take initiative to actually discover what is the nature of Ishvara. As we said, nimitta karanam upadana karanam. Even fewer are going to find the Guru. And those who find the Guru, even fewer are going to stay long enough for the transference of knowledge to take place. And then even fewer are going to practice through Nididhyasanam long enough until the knowledge takes place. Or practice Mananam. The wise is rare. The wise person is rare. It was in chapter, somewhere in the Gita, Bhagavad Gita. The wise is very rare. Third chapter? I'm not sure which one. Sthita Prajna from chapter 2. The wise person, the one with firm knowledge. Yeah. So the rarity of coming and sticking by is very rare, because it's not as a matter of just going to the temple and, of course that's part of it. But you need Ishvara's grace, and that takes time, that takes time. Just to be, they say there's three greatest boons that you can have in this whole universe. The first boon is to be born of a human body. Because if I'm born as a devata, like Agni or Vayu, then the enjoyments are so much. You're not thinking about moksha. You're in heaven. You're just appreciating. Music is incredible. It's like being on drugs times 10 million. I'm just enjoying the glories of Ishvara in heaven. In that state, I'm not going to pursue moksha. Most likely not. There are stories like Kena Upanishad where Indra, Deva, does approach the Yaksha. Yaksha represents the one who has potential to give the knowledge. And when Indra listens, that Yaksha transforms into Uma. Uma is the teacher. That means you can be friends with the Yaksha, the one who has potential to give you the knowledge. But the moment you become ready, like Indra did, he opened himself up and asked, "Who are you, Yaksha?" Yaksha transformed, not actually, but transformed, revealed, "I am a teacher, I am Uma." Therefore, even there you need qualifications in heaven to have humility. Otherwise, Vayu and Agni, they said, "Hey, who are you, Yaksha? What can you do?" Said the Yaksha to Vayu, to Deva or Deva. "Who are you?" "I am Vayu. I am air. I am the god of air." "What can you do?" I can spin tornadoes, big tornadoes. I'm scary and powerful." "Okay, please spin this blade of grass. Blow." Couldn't do it. Vayu, the one who has control over all air and forces of wind, couldn't blow this grass. This is a symbolism. Couldn't figure it out. And then went back to the land of Devas, went to Indra. He is the god of Devas and Devatas. And then comes Agni, the Lord of Fire. "What can you do, Mr. Lord of Fire?" "I can burn. I can destroy things with my fire." Again, I want to impress. See, you can say things like, "I can warm things up. I can provide warmth to people's homes." Vayu could have said, "I can provide a gentle breeze on your face, offer you some relief from hotness." But no, powerful. So Agni is told, "Okay, burn this grass, Mr. Agni." Agni tries, couldn't do it. Walked back in shame, because this is the Lord of Fire, the one who can burn things. Then Indra says, "Okay, you fellas couldn't do it. I will go and try to find out who this Yaksha is." The moment Indra appeared, Yaksha, recognizing the Adhikari in Indra, the readiness, the curiosity, the sincerity in Indra, instantly transformed and was available to answer Indra's questions. Didn't move away, because this student is ready. I want to give to the student. And therefore it says, I am Brahman. My nature is Brahman, and I want to teach you my nature. And Indra listened. He stayed, and he understood. And he went back to his friends, to Agni and Vayu, and he taught them now. He taught them the same knowledge that he was taught by Uma. Uma didn't teach Vayu and Agni. Uma taught Indra. And then Indra taught the exact same knowledge that Uma knows to Vayu and Agni. That means Agni and Vayu didn't have the right connection to Uma, but they had the right connection to another guru. Therefore, everyone gets a chance. I may have missed my boat, but slightly when I recognized my mistake, I was not ready, I was a little bit arrogant, a little bit too much pride, how I can burn grass, I can do this, how I'm rich, how I'm this, I'm that. The wise person doesn't like to hear this because they're sensitive, they can recognize this is superficial. I don't want to hear this. I'm here to give you the knowledge. If you want to give me about your status and position in the world, I don't want to hear this. So they learned their lesson. That's why Vayu and Agni went back. They thought about their mistake. Maybe we were too proud of our ability. And they were thinking about that long enough that by the time Indra came, they were ready for the knowledge. So everyone gets a chance eventually. But this is Ishwara's feedback. Also working with Vayu and Agni, even in heaven. Just like Ishwara's laws provide us feedback here on earth. And then Indra, having this knowledge, like the wise person on earth, saw and sees everything as self, as me. Through Jnana Chakshu, eye of wisdom. Recognizing everything resolves into Mithya. These are all appearances, plays, names and forms of the One. Names and forms, superimpositions on the one substratum. Giving an appearance of this going on right now. Giving an appearance of when you see your husband and child and wife and partner and cars, all appearances of one content, Ishvara setup. So the three bones are human body. Now with a human body, you still need to find the guru. You can do many things with the human body, but not just any guru. That's the second boon. A guru who has pramana, but not just any pramana, means of knowledge, a pramana that is keeping with the reality. I can give you pramana about anything, how to breathe, how to techniques, and you will love me for it. This is how most pramanas are. Do this, wake up 4 o'clock in the morning, do vipassana, go here, do chant this mantra, repeat it 3 times a day. You will love me for it because it's so concrete and tangible. It requires no thinking. I'm not giving you the cause. I'm not addressing the cause. I'm just giving you band-aids, one band-aid after another. Band-aid, band-aid, band-aid. Therefore, to be born as a human being, for the guru to meet the guru, this whole thing, whether I find the guru comes to me, whatever, something happens. The guru approaches, or you come to the guru, and that guru has a pramana, which is helping you keep with the reality as it is. Those are the 3 boons. If you have those 3 boons, you have the highest qualifications in the universe. Because if one of them is missing, you have the guru, you're born a human body, you have the guru, but the guru doesn't have a means of knowledge. Then you can still spend a whole lifetime just following instructions to dance and to pseudo stuff. If you have a human body, but you have the pramana, and the pramanas are free online nowadays, they're everywhere, AI, but there's no guru, human, I'm talking about a human being who's alive, not those dead gurus. Still, I don't have the right boon. Now, why are so many of us attracted to the dead guru? They're perfect because we pratibhasika them totally. We add little flowers and they're big and they enlightened. People love to customize. It's very fun to do that. But the moment this person is here, sitting with you at a dinner table or at lunch, and they say something and they show their human quality, you start to see an ordinary human being. And the mind doesn't want to see that. It likes to see something big, something profound, something, like on the pedestal, on the altar. Because the small mind needs someone big to look up to. That's how we were as children. We need these big people, parents, to look up to. And that transfers into adulthood. So that small child now superimposes onto this person. Some big person, big person. And that has to come down, because that is just the level of maturity that is yet to be developed. That's how we all start, idealizing people, putting up on a pedestal. The teachers is like so huge. And then you get to know the teacher, which is the best privilege one can have. You get to see them as a normal human being, and you just relax. You go, this is so amazing. I can speak to this person, you know, now there's no sense of small or big, and that can be so healing in itself, so healing. Until one is comfortable, then one always remains in this sort of a small student, big person. And we're talking, we're saying that you are Brahman. So technically we should be, remember in Bhagavad Gita, a compassionate person, one who is a bhakta, a mitraha, I think. Mitraha, a friend, friendliness, friendly person. I always go back to Arjuna and Krishna conversation. They're friends, very good friends, comfortable with each other. So this is a good relationship. So human body, a guru, and a pramana. And all three allow you to then solve the problem. Now it doesn't mean that it's going to be guaranteed, but at least you have the three boons in your life. Verse 48. Universe is not different from Atma. Atma eva idam jagat sarvam atmanaha anyat na vidyate mrdaha yadvat gatadini swatmanam sarvam ikshate. This is beautiful. The wise sees everything as him or herself. So do pots create duality? Pots. Do pots create duality? Do pots really create duality? No, no. They only apparently create duality as long as my focus, my vision is on the pots. By recognizing through the pramana that pots have no reality without the clay, then those pots, despite 1,000 of them, don't really create any form of duality. Therefore, my relationship to the pots changes, because ultimately they're all resolvable into the same substance. No more do I look at one pot and experience jealousy because it is a big pot. Ultimately, the content of that pot is going to be clay. Another small pot who is down there. No more inferiority complex because I'm bigger. I'm only bigger in terms of name and form. Ultimately, the substance is one and the same. There is not one thing that I have that is more superior than what you have already. Because the entirety of Andre is 5 elements. Entirety of you as a person is 5 elements. Both Andre and your body resolves into intelligence. And the truth of intelligence from both standpoints is awareness. There is not one thing that makes us lower or higher. It's just a play of names and forms producing different status in the society, different roles in the society. Thereby, forms do not create problems. What creates problems is ignorance of the nature of those forms. When I recognize the nature of forms, I can participate in forms, experience the pain and pleasure of forms, but there's a certain equanimity, certain composure, certain maturity that takes me through this journey of life, recognizing their truth. Which means that we don't have to cross anything, cross the ocean of samsara. What ocean of samsara? Where's the ocean of samsara? Point it out. So when the knowledge comes up, there's no more ocean of samsara. It is only ocean of Ishvara. It is Ishvara's ocean. It is Ishvara itself. Ocean of samsara we only use in these beginner language terms. You know, how am I going to cross this ocean of samsara? Just to say that implies that you don't have the pramana. But it's coming. The pramana is coming. The boon, the guru and the boon of pramana is coming. Therefore, there's nothing to truly cross because you're never outside of this order. And then verse 49, give up previous upadhi's attributes. give up. In other words, gave up or gives up body-mind upadhi attributes. Verse 49. Jivan muktaha tu tat vidvan purva upadhi gunan tyajet satchidananda rupatvat bhavet brahmara kitavat. So we have here two situations, before and after. Before the situation of knowledge taking place, before I was Brahman, but I saw myself as the body-mind upadhi due to not having the pramana. And I acted according to that upadhi. After knowledge comes, there's a recognition that that upadhi attributes don't belong to me. Cognitive understanding. Therefore, attribution error is now resolved. I am now free from the person. Other people may still see you as the same person. Oh, what is this Vedanta? I don't experience you being free. You're still the same person. You're going through the same, worries about things. But you understand something much deeper. Therefore, no one can tell whether you're liberated or not. Only you will know. It's a silent, humble journey. In this way, the verse essence here says, the attributes remain, the body-mind remains, however, they don't cover me anymore. They used to as though cover me, they don't cover me anymore. Whereas for everyone else, there's still a cover. But you see that it's not a cover. Think about this. So you recognize your upadhi is no longer an upadhi because you see it is mithya. But then you see a person that is suffering. Oh, where am I going to, oh God, where are you? I want the truth. What is the truth? Tell me, what is the truth? What do you see right now? Oh, where is the truth? I want God. Where are you, God? Where? Come to me. Come, please. I am so alone. I am in this universe. What are you seeing right now?
Despair.
You're seeing so many things simultaneously. You're seeing, you're seeing a person who is a seeker, number one. They want to discover. They cannot rest until they discover. Second of all, you're seeing a person that is struggling because the human heart wants to find resolution, cannot settle until I found fulfillment. Third, you're seeing a person that is taking this upadhi to be real. Fourth, you're seeing a person who is yet to receive the pramana and the guru. Fifth, you are seeing a beginningless situation, an endless situation. That's how the human being is until the pramana comes. Oh God, please, where are you? Please give me moksha. I don't have moksha right now. I want it. Please, someone give me input. Why? Upadhi. See, this is how it is. So, through empathy, you feel that. There's no need to criticize the person. They're in genuine pain. I was like that too. I was so committed to this journey, I was ready to die. Imagine, imagine that. So strong of a desire for liberation. Almost ready to die, to start the next life, and get a clean slate. That's how strong the desire is. Going up, just whole Himalaya mountains and looking for some special person. Going to Denver, Colorado, it's snowing. I don't care. I'm going to go because my guru lives on the hill. I'm going to hire a car. Okay, you need to put chains on your car. Why? Because you're going up a mountain and it's snowy. Your car is going to slip. I don't need it. Just give me a car. I bought the cheapest car possible. 2-wheel drive, not 4-wheel drive. Put my bag in there. Went on the road, no problems because there's no ice on the road. And then it goes into this side road where it's gravel, and on top of the gravel is ice. No problems there. You can still sort of maneuver your car here and there. But now when you turn over the bridge, the water, it's so cold that the water is frozen. And then it starts to go up, the car, and I start to slip. There's a cliff on the side. And first time situation I've been in, being like this. And then the car stops. Now it's sliding slowly, sliding. I come out of the car, improvise. I take my yoga mat out and I put it underneath the tire to gain some traction. press the gas, the yoga mat just torpedoes backwards. No help. My guru's up there. I need to get up there. How? I'm so close. He happened to be driving a BMW, with stability control, so there's no anti-slip, so there's no slippage here. My car was basic, so it has total slippage all the way. He gets up, gets out, and said, no problem. I'll get in the car. I've been in this situation, and I'll try to make the car, move somehow. I'll make the car slide slowly so it doesn't go over the cliff. And I say, okay, I trust you. And he somehow makes the car slide down back where, it starts, back at the bridge where that frozen water was. And we just leave the car there. And then I get inside his BMW, very warm. And then he's driving like 20, 30 kilometers up this mountain. And then there's a nice house. He's got his own house. And then we stay there for 10 days doing Kriya Yoga, serious breathing techniques. And all about moving energy, up and down the spine. And this is the life of a seeker. And then you finish that and you go, okay, now what do I do? I've been doing this for 1 year, no problem. Just increase the intensity. Increase the intensity, do more breathing, do more visualization. That's what you're going to get. And you say, yes, Guru, I will do that. And then something else comes up into your life. Something that is slightly more refined. And you suddenly drop this old thing. And another teacher shows up. Another Kriya Yoga teacher, this time in Sydney. She's wearing an ochre robe. And she also introduces another Kriya Yoga. I gladly take that up. More breathing techniques. You meet these people, they're all yoga seekers, beginners. You do that for another 1 year. Then someone else comes. Now you go to New Zealand. Another teacher there, Kriya Yoga, Bihar Kriya Yoga School. They require about 15 hours of the longest Kriya Yoga of all. So this one requires all sorts of asanas. I forgot the names, but did this for 13, sometimes 15 hours a day for about 2 years. Commitment, because you want liberation. Felt amazing, because the mind is so sattvic. You're totally high. It's like on drugs. Best time of my life. One time on the airport, I sat down and the plane broke down. So we had to come back out and sit on the sofa. I said, no problem, I'm just going to meditate and do my Kriya Yoga there. Went into Samadhi, right on the sofa. It was bliss. The moment the bliss came, they announced you can now go back to the airplane, the issue is fixed. Now when you get Samadhi, you are high. You're like drunk. You can't maneuver yourself. And I'm like, uh-oh, how am I going to get through? So I get through, wobbly. Okay, hello. Totally smiling. Get on the airplane. That times several years. Repeat. Activity. That's the life of a seeker. And then somehow, Course in Miracles came into my life. Did that for two years straight, 365-day workbook. That changed my life. It's a beautiful course on forgiveness and non-duality. It's more like Vishishtadvaita, it doesn't matter. Right after that course finishes, I go to Tirumavalai, find my first teacher there, doing the Bhagavad Gita course, 25 days. I stay there. You've been doing spirituality for years now, by now. You've heard all the Neo-Vedantic terms, you've studied, I'm not going to say which ones, but the Parsha Vedanta, Ramana Maharishi was my number one, Nisargadatta was number two, and many before that. You sit down in the Gita, and for the first time ever, there's a systematic approach to the teaching. Things are clicking. I walk out depressed, because I realized how little I knew. I thought I knew it all. I don't know very much. This was the Bhagavad Gita, first time in my life. Then I come home, and it's not romantic. I say I'm going to go back to Thailand and finish my Qigong teacher training. I wanted to be a teacher in Qigong, in Tai Chi Chuan. And I go back to Thailand, and I finish that training. and I'm like ready. I'm ready to teach this. I come home and then I say, I'm gonna watch the recording of what took place, in Tirumavalai. I'm gonna watch that. Out of all of the videos, I'm gonna watch that. The audio quality was so bad, I had to use an equalizer to bring out the highs and reduce the lows because it's total echo. It's like unhearable. I didn't care. That's the course I went to. I'm going to look at and listen to that audio. When that was listened to, the seeds started to sprout one by one, one by one, one by one. Okay. That's what this is. The knowledge started to become clearer and clearer and clearer, crystal clear. It was amazing. Crystal clear. And then, very quickly, you go and start a meetup session, and people say, I'm coming. And you're saying, what? I wasn't intending to invite anyone. And yet, you find yourself going on your laptop and just saying, let me just form a meetup. I've never been on Meetup, ever. Don't even know what it is. Just spontaneous, meetup.com. Not only that, not only have I not gone to a meetup, but I'm taking my credit card out and you gotta give the details to actually be a facilitator. I enter my credit card details in there. Like, what is this nonsense that I'm doing right now? I set up a little meetup together and I say, whatever. Next day, 2 days later, 3 people have already signed up. And that hit me even harder. I said, wow, I can't do this. Because what do I know? I'm just a small person, a nobody. And yet people are signing up. And I was in a conundrum. I thought to myself, if I say no, I'm saying no to Ishvara. Because people have been telling me for years, you're a good speaker, you're going to need to talk. But I felt, no, talk what? What can I possibly say that's not already out there? There was always this inner seed, this is not the right information. Yoga, Buddhism, this and that, with all due respect to them, I didn't want to teach it. There was some seed saying, this is incomplete. So I felt like I had no permission, even though I was a good speaker, I had no permission to speak. I needed that authenticity, that total confidence that I am coming from firm wisdom. And Advaita Vedanta was that permission, that green light. Then the first person came, and I was totally terrified. I thought, what will I say? So I printed out some bullet points, and I looked at them one by one. Let's talk about this. What do you think? And then we started a conversation. Little confidence, building up. Very quickly, I then quickly signed up to Chenmaya, studied from them for 2 years. Had to submit your homework online, mainly. Someone introduced me to Nima. When I met her in Rishikesh, she showed me Chandogya Upanishad chapter 6. That totally changed my life. That was next level. That was the pot and clay example. And I've never heard of the pot and clay before. Luckily, so it was brand new, it was fresh. I didn't have any reference points to say I've heard this before. Then it's most effective, isn't it? Because you're totally innocent and new to the experience. And I was like, wow. So all that is here is one substance, one clay, one clay appearing as these pots. That just totally transformed me to the next level. And that's how the relationship started to build and build and build. And then I recognized she's so good in speaking. I have to learn this. I have to master what my teacher understands. So then another journey of commitment and dedication. And I'm going to understand every word what you say. Every word why you say it, I'm going to master it. And that took another 7 years. And then the person gets slowly churned through self-knowledge, and this ends up a product of that churning, of that refinement, of that seeking. So the journey is like this. And who did all of this? Play of names and forms. Upadi. Okay? Upadi. So all of this was just a journey that was coming together, resolving itself. How many times was it terrifying? Yes. Especially when you're vulnerable, when you're a beginner, you don't have any backup. But then you slowly build confidence, slowly, and it starts to rise and rise. And you start to, find new, avenues in yourself, new ways to cope, new ways to hold yourself strong. And that is a blessing in itself. Was it easy? Not at all. Was it hard? The hardest thing ever. But hard things have so much benefit. Falling down, getting up, falling down, getting up. So for you, that one who has gone through that journey, refined, the upadi is no longer an upadi. That's the blessing of Ishvara. You work hard, you get your reward. That's how this setup is. The harder I work, the greater the rewards. There's just no way around it. And so these attributes remain attributes. They don't cover me, they're only seeming. And then he uses an example of a worm and a wasp. It says that here, just nice example. Seeker, through consistent meditation, contemplation, what happens? He or she sheds one's old worm self. So one's like a worm. And what does they do? They reveal the self, the wasp. Maybe that's not a good, worm. They're both unpleasant, So maybe what's better, a larva and a butterfly? Yeah. Larva, so the larva has been shed, the butterfly has risen. And then verse 50, one crosses delusion and attains peace. Tirtva moha arnavam hatva raga dvesha adi rakshasan. Yogi shanti samayuktaha atma ramaha virajate. We have all taken countless births, and in each birth we were looking for the truth, Sat and Chit. And every attempt that we did was in the name of coming and finding that fulfillment. But our attempts failed, life after life. So this means that every life didn't have a happy ending. Contrary to the movies, isn't it? In a movie, otherwise you can't sell a movie. Every movie almost has a happy ending, where situations, they come together, they work out, and that's called a happy ending. But how many situations have worked out in your past lives? Lots. And here you are again. Can that be called a happy ending? What is a happy ending? A happy ending is when I've understood that I am totally free of time and space. I'm outside of this world, outside of this, not outside, but I'm through and through the entire thing. I'm not bound by this world. I'm not bound by the universe. I'm not bound by the person. I'm not bound by my conditions. I'm not bound by my associations. That's a true happy ending. Now, to understand this happy ending, Ramayana story conveys it. Ramayana story is a very nice story of the spiritual search. So we have Rama, and Rama represents the self, represents the self. And Sita represents peace. The peace of knowing myself as myself. Now, what does Rama do? He sees a deer, a golden deer. And what does the golden deer represent? Objects of desire. That means attractive objects. That means I see something fancy and I fall into a delusion. Right? I get... So the self has this, what we call a fall, as though a fall. Paramatma falls to Jivatma. Why? Because of the participation in worldly golden deers, attractive objects, sensual pleasures. Golden deer, let me go, go. And Rama then lost his peace, lost his Sita. Now, what took Sita away? Ravana. How many heads does Ravana have? 10. Representing? 5, 5. 5 sense organs and 5 action organs. So what takes my peace away? My senses. Golden deer, sounds, music, tastes. And then I walk from one place to the other. Procreation, big thing nowadays. When was it not? Speaking, communicating, holding, grasping, feeling, tasting, touching. Ravana took my Sita away. And then for Rama to find his Sita, what does he have to do? He has to construct the bridge. What does the bridge represent? Self-knowledge. One brick at a time, one thought at a time, one teaching at a time. That's not easy. Because it's not easy, he has to ask help of his guru, Hanuman. So Hanuman helps Rama construct the bridge. And finally, Rama crosses the bridge, which is the bridge of knowledge, taking you across the ocean of samsara, and you find your Sita, you reunite, and that reuniting is moksha. The whole Ramayana, you can look at it like this, as a journey of the fall from Paramatma to Jivatma, and then Jivatma has to go back up to Paramatma. So in this way, as the verse says, after having crossed the ocean of delusion, killed the monsters of likes and dislikes that are holding you down, the yogi, Rama, becomes united with his Sita, becomes united with his peace, with himself. Okay, verse 51. Renounce outer joys, remain self-content. Okay. Bahya anitya sukha asaktim hitva atma sukha nirvrtaha gatastha deepavat swastaha swaantaha eva prakashate. Okay, so renounced fleeting joys of the outer world. Renounced fleeting joys, that means the dependence on the joys on the outer world is no more. Why? Because moksha is a permanent seeker sought resolution. You can still appreciate things around you, but where is my fulfillment coming from? From within. I'm no longer joining with objects for my fulfillment, but rather out of my fulfillment, I am doing what is to be done. Because you're now operating from that fullness, from that self-replenishing fullness. In that sense, the relationship changes. That means you no longer depend on things to go your way every single time. Because ultimately, I am full. I am free, untouched by these conditions of the world. And therefore, actions, they become simpler. It's no longer to prove myself. It's no longer to, drama reduces, right? If I don't get it, fine. You just do what you have to do. You keep yourself, right? Locked to your swadharma. If we have free too much time, then, find something to do. Sometimes we have too much time in this world. And so it's like no matter what happens, it's like, oh, I've got too much time to think. But actually, the whole journey is just about just getting busy with your duty. And then verse 52. Unaffected by upadhis like space. Upadhi staha apitat dharmaihi aliptaha vyomavat munihi sarvavit mudhavat tishtet asaktaha vayuvat charet. So the wise is unaffected like space, because space is attributeless. The wise person's nature is awareness, equally being attributeless. And it says here, interesting, may behave as an ignorant. What does this tell you about whether I can identify a wise person? Now, it's a beautiful statement, definitive, solid. Oh, ignorant person. What an ignorant person. You don't know. They could have a very weird personality. They could be very happy in a funky way. You don't know. So one can still say, oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how this works. It doesn't say anything about what you know. It says you don't know about space, astrology, but it doesn't say that I don't know about that which I'm looking. The content is one. Knowing which, everything else is at once known. Knowledge, knowing which, everything is at once known. I may not know how the stars work, how my body works, but I know that no matter where I look, no matter what I know, the content of it is intelligence. So the upadi continues for the upadis continue as normal, and I can now appreciate those upadis, and they resolve into the one reality. And what else happens? One's spiritual personality normalizes. So no more spiritual nonsense, and standing out, and I'm a spiritual person, and funky haircuts, and 100 beads around your neck, and speaking, hey, and all this stuff, right? You can do that, but you're a normal person. You go back down to the world. You're a normal person. You speak normally. You wave normally. Ordinary, normalized, gone out of the nonsense, like the wind. In other words, the jnani flows like the wind. The jnani is aligned to Ishvara's order and is able to flow like the wind. No longer sort of stopped and drama, and life ceases to be a struggle, because now you are genuinely clear what is to be done. Fear has gone. Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Avashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.